Hoping to see you next week, the same place. There was a question from the congregation in an email. And the question was, so much misery concentrated in an area, does it mean that all the living being in that area has similar karma in the past and being given similar punishment? So as I have pointed out a number of times, in the journey of life there is no award and there is no punishment. They are just results of the choices that we make. Some choices we make for argument's sake. Here is a choice for you. I come to you and say, Tarane, I feel like seeing a movie. Would you accompany me? And Tarane say, I never had any plan to go to see a movie. Oh, come on, give me a gun. Okay, if you say, I'll give you the company. Here is a choice that you have made because you wanted to oblige a friend. But responsibility is still yours. Right? Say, I like the horror movies. Tarane doesn't like horror movies. Now we are in the theater, we have bought the tickets. The moment we sit in the theater, the movie is a horror movie. What are you doing? Oh, I enjoy horror movies. But I don't. Oh, for my sake, would you please just continue? Okay, I'll suffer through it. That's a choice. And here is, would you call that as a punishment? Or a reward? It is neither punishment nor a reward. We all bought the ticket. And buying the ticket is also without you signing a long legal paper, actually is a contract between you and the theater owner. Thou shalt sit here, there shall be no other light or sound in the hall other than the movie theater. We'll close the door and nothing from the outside will be audible to you or visible to you. And thou shalt be civil enough and not disturb the others who are enjoying this scene by making a scene by yourself. Isn't it the contract? That's the only way you can see the movie, isn't it? Taking a birth from the other dimension into the physical dimension is a ticket to entry into this world. And we are going to see a movie called Life. Certain choices in that movie are going to be the one which we willingly made. Tarane wanted to be wife to Quraysh, hence that is a willing choice. But I am sure Tarane has made certain choices which were just an obligation to go along with a friend, to help a friend. Or think about a scenario. There needs to be a collective lesson given to the humanity for the entire posterity. That means that experiment that drama will have to be played at a very, very grand scale. Right? Can you perceive such a drama? I'll make it easier for you. 6 million people died in gas chambers in experiments to create a memory in the history of human consciousness that such an evil thing a human can do to another human. Some of them were volunteers saying, I'll help you to create that scenario. Some of them were paying for a karma. In both cases they were paying for a karma. Choices were theirs. But some were voluntary, some were compulsory. So when we look at the television in Cambodia or Africa or anywhere else in the part of the world, and there is a suffering of any kind, it is the end result of a choice they made. Voluntary or involuntary. That doesn't matter. The law of free will not be violated under any set of circumstances. Every human, no exception the rule, is here right now, this minute, because of their free will. And so is the case with the entire cycle of life and death. An ignorant person will say, I didn't tell you to give me a birth. I had no vote in that. You brought me into the world. That's a statement coming out of an ignorance. Today the science has grown enough that if you want to know, there are experts in this very country, you don't need to go to India for that, who will take you into the past life regression therapy, and they will tell you the circumstances of your previous life and the reason for your choices in this life. I used to meditate with a girl, and she was rather chubby, and all the dieting had failed for her. I was living in San Francisco in those days. She found a hypnotherapist who did the past life regression therapy with her. And it turned out that in one of her previous lives, she had died out of starvation. And that memory is still stored, and no matter how hungry she keeps herself, body just does not spend the energy, because subconsciously she is reminded you may not die again out of starvation. The day she was given that secret, you'll be surprised, no matter how much he ate, she started losing weight. Now the body is not storing the energy anymore. That fear of dying out of starvation, which is what the therapist told her. You are living in a land of plenty. Here the people are dying out of overeating, not starvation. Stop worrying. She started losing weight. I don't know how I'm going to explain that to the people who say there is only one life. These are the things being done in the laboratories today. You do not need to accept anybody's words. Just do some reading, do some research. If only 200 years ago the earth was the center and the sun was running around it, and today earth is such an insignificant planet that in the cosmological terms it has absolutely no value, other than that its location in the cosmos is absolutely perfect. The distance, the rotation, the speed, cycles, everything is precisely timed, and if you adjust one parameter by 0.1%, the earth disappears. That's one of the discussions going on in the scientific circles. How do you explain this from the theory of evolution? I mean, did the earth first try to be closer to the sun and then started moving? How did all these parameters fall into place? The gravity, the heat, the light, the sound, the electromagnetism, on and on and on. How did all these values become so precisely tuned? They are still thinking about that. So all I'm saying is, you don't need to form any belief systems, not in today's world. You don't need to accept any lecture from anybody. Take every single word and go and do the research, and you have the world knowledge at your fingertips while you are lying in your bed. Don't accept anything. Question, challenge. And slowly, you will come to the state where you will say, my only belief is that I have no belief. The cosmos is too big for this little brain to say, this is it. I have found the ultimate. Any human who says, this is it, you need to help this person very gently. Anybody has any comments, questions, thoughts?
If I ask my question, you think I haven't been here last 3 years. Was absent.
Say that again.
I say if I ask my question, it would seem like I have been absent past 3 years that I've been coming here. Because you say that we and God are partner, and God is within us. And if we make any decision, He and us, we are liable for any decision we make. Right?
Go.
I still don't get it, that how is that, I mean, I totally believe in different life, unlike this man, but I don't understand that, how is that I make the, even though from my past or getting ready for my future or all this stuff I understand, but why is that it's still like, I don't get it still.
Tarane,
I mean, I still think if it's me.
let me help you. Let me help you. I know where you're going with this. I know what the confusion is. Because you have put on one hand the Supreme Being, and on the other hand your senses and you're trying to reconcile the two. All the decisions that we are making here, we are making from our senses. That's why he holds us responsible. Because the decision is not being made by asking him, what is your will? Because our mind isn't quiet enough to hear the answer that he is going to give. So instead of asking our own higher self, we say, Dr. D, I am thinking of buying this property. What do you think? But if you truly believed that he is inside you, you wouldn't go to Dr. D. You will have your own conversations with your own God. And say, until you answer me, I am doing nothing. I am just going to wait for you. Haven't you heard parents telling their young boys, you are not thinking with your head. I know what you are thinking with. Right? A young body thinks with a different part of the body. Brain is not engaged. You think they are going to engage spirit? The confusion is, hey, I made this choice. You said he is living inside me. He saw it. Why didn't he stop me? That's not how the game works. If he stops you, where is your free will? The game ends. The rule of the game is you have the free will to make all the choices, and there are 4 dimensions for you to consult. Your physical, what is your body saying? Your emotions, what are your feelings saying? Your intellect, what is your logic saying? And your spirit, what is your God saying? You tell me how many times in your entire life from the day 1 till today you have made a choice by consulting him. Give me one.
I don't know if I exactly consulted him, but recently whatever happened, let's just say it was supposed to, and I don't push stuff as much as I used to.
But I'm not asking you to defend it. I'm asking you to think about it so that you can answer, get that confusion out of your mind.
No, I haven't.
Get that confusion out of your mind. You can hold him responsible directly only if you have evolved to a state where he is talking to you directly, where when you close your eyes, it is not a darkness in there, but his light. That question was asked by Jesus Christ on the cross. What am I supposed to do here? I am not guilty of any crime. I am still being punished. I am suffering. The pain is excruciating. What choice can I make now? And he got the answer. Just say, thy will be done. There is no confusion. There is no contradiction. The people who decide to die or kill are stuck in the emotional dimension. They don't let the brain come into the play. They don't let their senses come into the play. And God is completely missing. They don't even know. They're just stuck in the emotional dimension. That's why those decisions are so easy. A 32 years old man who has a wife, been married for 3 years, living in London in an apartment, and suddenly leaves the wife, leaves the apartment, leaves the job, and goes and blows himself by driving a plane into the building. What is the level? Brain certainly wasn't in place. Neither was body, because body was going to burn. What was intact? The emotions. How is he going to blame his God for any eventuality? He is responsible, 100%. He can't say my mullah told me, because mullah is still sitting in Saudi Arabia. That explanation will not work. Because if mullah believed in so much, why didn't he do it himself? Why did he pass on this message to others? Where is the mullah stuck? Same emotional level.
So when we want to make a decision, we ask, I ask, we ask. I don't know, you should don't say.
Right.
Anyway, ask our spirit first, or our brain first, or emotions probably not should be involved that much.
That is going to depend on your spiritual awareness.
But we should not combine four of them.
You
We
can't.
get confused.
No, you can't. Because if you did, the laws are going to conflict. They are going to bounce against each other. The attempt should be to discount the physical, intellectual, and emotional as much as your spiritual evolution allows you to do it.
Is that like the intuition? I think we talked about that. Or is it kind of like intuition? How?
There is a certain element of that.
Because you feel like.
But all I'm saying to you is, if you are asking, what is the foolproof way of making a correct choice? The answer is, discount the emotions, logic, and the body entertainment. Raise your awareness at a spiritual level. And the quality of the decision will be determined by that level. That's why there's so much emphasis. Raise your spiritual level. Raise your spiritual level. Start your meditation. Put your mind to rest that is not driving you crazy. Because mind will become its own attorney and judge and jury and executioner. And you can spend the entire night just turning around on the bed, and the mind will not let you sleep because it will come up with such a creative reason why should you do this way. And when you say yes, okay, I'm going to do this way, he'll come back with another argument.
But isn't that the way we make the decision first? We try to justify that later. Isn't that the case?
There certainly is one way. I'm not going to argue with that. Just do what comes to your mind first.
First,
And then it's all.
justify,
So long as you do not turn around and say, you made me do it.
Yes.
Follow your path. Responsibility still remains yours, and you do not need to justify it to anybody other than yourself.
But that's the key. We try to justify to ourselves, to make ourselves, We find 200.
The problem
reasons,
Mahmood,
That's
is that
why
the
you should
justification to the self is usually finding the fault with the other. And if nobody is available, then of course wife is always the handy tool. Or husband is always the ready one available. I wasn't going to do it because I knew you like it that way, that's what I did it. Hey, wait a minute, I never asked you. But I know you, I have lived with you. Don't I know what you like and what you don't like?
That's why they say count to 10 or sleep over it. Think and then make decision. Not make decision and then say, why did I do that?
There are various techniques. My suggestion to everybody is increase your meditation. Quiet your mind down. A quiet, serene mind will be able to hear the inner voice much louder. A disturbed, angry, greedy, sexual, excited, whatever, that mind will always reach a wrong conclusion.
But until you hear that voice, raise your level to the point that you start hearing that voice, how do you wait for that decision being given to you?
Well, it depends on the urgency of the choice. Right? Normally we give this example that if a girl runs into your home and tells you some rogues are chasing her and she's afraid she's going to get killed or raped or worse, please hide me. You're not going to sit in a prayer there and say, tell me what should I do. Right? So it depends on what are you deciding, what the choices are, where the choices you take. That is why the best possible state of mind to be in is, it should always be serene and quiet. So that it is always ready to ask this simple question. I need some answer here. Help me. And he tells you right away. But if you say, I'll tomorrow make some time for you, but today I need the answer, he's going to say, I'm giving you the answer, you're just not hearing it. Which was one of the dialogue in that conversation with God, that God says, I am talking to every human, every moment, in his or her own voice. And because it is in their own voice, they don't listen to it.
This is a movie now.
That's a movie, Conversation with God. On the internet, free. You can...
I read the book, but
No, they made the movie, the guy is raking in.
even the book even says whatever Hitler did wasn't bad. I mean,
Well,
Well,
I think it's
how
stretching
can
it.
you say it doesn't work?
it's not a question of bad or good, it's a question of a choice. And the choice was made to teach the entire universe that a human can be this inhuman to another human. That they were actually calculating the cost per death.
yeah.
The cost of the bullet, cost of the poison, cost of the building, cost of the gas. They were actually calculating and improving the efficiency scientifically. How to eliminate more people in the shortest possible time quickest possible way, and then their disposals of the remains. So by the time they got done with the experiment, 6 million people had disappeared. And there is a consciousness on this planet even today who says this is all a fiction, it never happened.
Right, exactly.
It never happened.
He himself is in trouble now. Because of suffering.
I mean, we hear these things all the time, and what kind of mindset this is. We hear them on the television, newspaper. Any other questions? Any other comments? तो साज दर्शन देते ने महाराज कृपा की है